for higher education for the Star Tribune. I have always liked the idea of newspapers, and when I was 11 years old, published the Ross Report, which was a one-page newspaper dedicated to the happenings in my family. So that's kind of my first evidence that I had interest in this as a career. And in high school, I joined the high school newspaper, which I ended up loving and became the editor-in-chief, and did that for a couple years. And when I started to look for colleges, looked for those with journalism programs. So went to school for journalism specifically under a scholarship that also helped me match up with the Star Tribune and have an internship while I was in school at the Star Tribune. I did a couple internships at the Star Tribune, actually. I had one that was paired with a scholarship I earned, and also another practicum class that Chris Eisen ran that had student reporters in the newsroom. And that was the second opportunity I had to get to know the newsroom and for them to get to know me, which led to, after I graduated, a couple interviews with the suburban sections of the Star Tribune. And worked for the suburban sections for 2 years, covering City Hall, which was fascinating, and then moved into the higher education beat, which I've been doing for a couple of years now. Today I'm going to go to Century College to observe a classroom for a story I'm writing for Back to School. After I return from that, I'm going to transcribe my notes from it, also transcribe an interview I did last week, get a sense of who else I need to speak with for the article, make some calls, and hopefully by the end of the day I will feel like that story is ready to be written. That's the goal for me today. So my job involves a lot of interviews, being on campus, transcribing interviews, making calls, and then sort of bringing that all together and getting it from my brain onto a computer. I started using Twitter for my reporting and also letting people know about the reporting I was doing. And that has changed my job pretty significantly. I joined Twitter about 3 years ago and now use it on a daily basis to interact with people who are professors, who are students, and it's led to some really strong story ideas that I'm pretty proud of. Just because you're in conversation constantly with people who care about higher education, are involved with higher education. So that's been the most surprising part of my job. I had no sense of that when I was going to school, or even in the first couple of years of my job, how much Twitter would become a part of my reporting. Because I was so focused on getting a journalism degree, now looking back, I kind of wish that I had double majored, that I had gone into greater depth into other subjects in school so that I could now write about those subjects with more authority. What got me noticed here at the Star Tribune through my internships and through even my initial years of reporting here were my abilities to tell a strong story. And a big part of what got me hired here were video skills, but I think what's kept me here and led to the job and the beat I have now is more about the writing and reporting than maybe I had anticipated. I think it's important for new students to really brand themselves and to show the variety of skills that they have, but to also know that at the end of the day, it's the reporting and writing skills that will lead them through this career. I feel a deep obligation to both the people I interview and the people who eventually are going to read my stories. And that obligation stresses me out on a daily basis. And I often wake up in the middle of the night wondering, did I spell that man's name right? And that kind of stress is both a continual challenge that I enjoy, but also a difficulty of this job. I love talking to people about what they do, and higher education, which I cover, is such a fascinating place for those conversations. You're talking to students who are struggling to pay tuition and studying some things that they love, and faculty who are doing really exciting research, and administrators who are trying to sort of balance competing interests. And that part of this beat and this job is my favorite part.